Hello, everybody. My name is Kazm Vulfhart, aka King Kazm, whatever you want to call me, and welcome back to Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. This will be the last episode. And it still blows my mind that it's 162 episodes. I'll start with a few calls to action. First and foremost, if you enjoy this content and you want to see more content, or you're coming back on the regular, and you're not subscribed, please leave a like and don't forget to subscribe. That way you can see more content like this in the future. And if you're coming back on the regular and you're not subscribed and you subscribe, it's free. It helps a ton. I'm greatly appreciative. If you want to support me or if you want, as a content creator, if you want to join me as a fellow content creator, as a content lover, I have a Ko-Fi, Patreon, and community Discord server link all in the description below. To give you a rundown on what we're doing and what we've been doing, we've been helping Addison in the last couple of episodes. Just to basically be like a good person. A good, enjoyable person. Let the people know that Hyrule is safe in our hands. I will say this. While this is the ending episode of the main series, I might come back to this for some streams. If I deem it necessary. And speaking of streams, I am now live on Twitch. Well, not now live, probably when you're seeing this, but like, I'm now going live on Twitch every Mondays and Thursdays around 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Standard time. So if you would like to see what other games I play on there, come check it out. Mondays is Genshin Impact Day, so I do a little bit of the events. I do some of the story. I just do a lot of the Genshin Impact because there's so much content. And then that's also how I get my videos for Genshin Impact now, is through the VODs. And speaking of VODs, also on Thursdays I'm playing. Well, I guess they could be retro. I don't know. It's weird. They're games usually from around the 2000s era. Sly Cooper, Ratchet and Clank. I'll be doing some Jak and Daxter soon-ish. Might do some Spyro. Don't know yet. But I'm playing those games on Thursdays. I usually go for about 4 hours. So if you want to drop by, say hi. You don't have to stay long, but you can just say hi and give me a follow. And that'll be much appreciated. And I hope to see you there. Beyond that, I think I've decided what I want to do with my Patreon for now. For now, I'm going to make it so that my Patreon is how you all can see unedited VODs. As it stands right now, I am downloading the VODs and posting them to YouTube as private videos for the sole purpose of having them like in a storage area. It just helps me keep things organized for the most part. I will, once I get enough of a batch going, I will be editing and posting them as, like, one-shot videos for the most part. Not really one-shot videos, but, like, there'll be videos that don't really have a set schedule. They'll be posted whenever I'm done editing them. So there's no proper way of knowing when I post them. So yeah, I'm probably going to do that for the... I might do that for the... What tiers do I have for Patreon, actually? Oh, you know what? It'd probably be smarter to look at it on my phone. Because that's easier to access. And it doesn't automatically log me out every freaking 2 weeks. I'm looking it up. Give me a minute. I want this. What are... Pardon me while I figure out how to operate the app. I'm good at operating it as a non-content creator, but as a creator, I'm dumb. I'm dumb. I'm stupid. I have no intelligence. Okay, well, I guess I'm gonna have to go on the computer then. It's fine. Patreon? What is Patreon? Patreon. Is it Patreon or Patreon? I don't have a shop. So I have a $1, $5, and a $10 tier. Nothing really... You don't really get much for any of them as it stands. But you do get your name at the end of the videos, as well as me giving you a verbal thank you. But now that I have the VODs... I love Addison so much. He's a great dude. Now that I have the VODs, I'm going to post the unedited VODs as rewards for supporting me on Patreon. I'll probably do it for the $5 and $10 tier. Because I don't see myself justifying it for just the $10 tier. Then again, I probably should value my work. I don't know. I'll talk with some of my friends and see what they say. Get their info on it. Most likely it will be for the $5 tier, but one or two of the tiers is getting the access to the VODs. But for the most part, it is still just going to be a tip jar. Coffee is still definitely a tip jar. I wonder if I can actually make that like Patreon. Maybe. I'll research it. Also, moving on to a different topic. Since I'm mostly just, like I said, in this episode, I'm literally just running around. And I remember vaguely what I was talking about. I was talking about, like, not sacrificing yourself for your job, but if you do like your job, to put your effort into it. I think that's a very noble mindset, is to just care about your job, but don't force yourself to kill yourself for it. Like, it's a balance you gotta do. Like, and you all know how I filibuster. I filibuster hard. But regardless, I want to talk about something else. So as you know, by now, if you've been paying attention to my series, the series that is replacing Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is going to be Mario and Luigi Brothership. I've played one episode of it so far. I haven't recorded a second episode yet because I've been trying to balance stuff, trying to get a new schedule, new personal schedule set up so I can get things working, because as much as I love the streaming, it has thrown a bit of a wrench in everything, so I kind of have to, like, work and balance everything out. It's not a hassle. Well, I mean, it's a hassle, but it's not, like, impossible. I'm doing pretty well with it. But from the half hour that I played, much to my chagrin, I would have loved to record an hour of it, but I only had time for a half hour. Much to my chagrin, or the hour that I played, or the half hour that I played, it was fun. And I've never really played much of a Mario and Luigi game. I played Brothers in Time, and that's about it. After, like, I knew about Inside Story, and I knew about Dream Team. It took me a while to learn about the original Mario and Luigi. Were there two Marios and Luigi before Partners in Time? You had regular Mario and Luigi. Oh, that's something else I can look up while I'm learning. Mario and Luigi. Mario and Luigi series. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Okay, so what have we got? Games. I want games, please. Thank you. There we go. So we got Superstar Saga was the first one. Partners in Time, which was for DS, not 3DS. Bowser's Inside Story, which was for DS. Dream Team, which was for 3DS. People Don't Like Paper Jam. And Brothership. So there's 5. 5 in the series, okay. I'm cool with that. I only ever played Dream Team. Not Dream Team, Partners in Time. I have been watching other people play the other games up until Brothership was released. That was dangerously close. I would have drowned. But yeah, I'm hoping that the series will be a fun one. I know a lot of people are liking it. I also know that, like, right now Nintendo's kind of on everybody's shit list because of what they're pulling. Then again, that's also Sony, too. I don't know of any Microsoft controversies going around right now. I know Sony did the PSN bullshit where they originally tried to make it so that if you wanted to play any of their games on Steam, you had to log into their PlayStation Network. And even the single-player ones like Horizon Zero Dawn or God of War. And then people gave them backlash for it, and they said, oh, okay, we won't do that. And then they proceeded to remove the games that they offered for Steam in all the countries that didn't have the PSN, because that's the reason people were getting irritated, is because in some countries, PlayStation Network isn't available, period. For one reason or another. I think it's classified as an embargo. I don't know. I'm ignorant on that, so. But yeah, they people were upset about that because if they wanted to play any of the single-player PlayStation games, they'd have to find a ridiculous workaround to try and get into it. And so people got upset, gave Sony hell. And so Sony was like, okay, we won't do that. And then they proceeded to use malicious compliance. They removed the PSN requirement, but then they removed every single game that wasn't in those countries. For whatever reason. Like, I'm sorry, you're cutting off... What's the saying? Chopping off your nose in spite of your face? Is that what it is? A better term would be shooting yourself in the foot. Because what you're doing is you're... because of these... people who can't play your games, you can't enforce some form of control over your player base. So you spite them by removing the games from those regions. Which you can't tell me that that's not what that is, because there is no way in Hell's Half Acre that it's a monetary game in any shape or form. Like, even if it is a monetary gain, it's not a long-lasting one. It is very temporary. What even possessed them to do that in the first place? Like, what reasoning is it? Like, I'm actually actively trying to wrap my head around it. Like, sometimes I try and wrap my head around, like, the decisions that these big companies make. Just so I don't, like, jump down their throats trying to strangle them. Because sometimes the decisions they make actually may make sense in the long run, but in the short term, no. And then other times they might not make sense in the long run, but they make sense in the short run. It's all about just trying to understand whether or not my hate is justified. Well, you would do a login situation for something like PlayStation Network to ensure that somebody isn't pirating it. But at the same time, people have found ways to pirate games and bypass the login. So what's the point? I don't get it. I genuinely don't get it. Like they get on the they get on these cases where it's just like, oh yeah, no, it makes sense, but it doesn't. It's like Nintendo with Pocket Pair. Or something again, Pocket Pair made that update that's really stupid. I don't think it's I think it's as stupid as people are making it, but I don't think it's as big a deal as people are making it out to be. I think Pocket Pair right now is trying to test the waters to see what they can do to ensure that if they in some way lose the patent or the lawsuit, they have a means around like what Pokemon is or what the Nintendo's trying to do. I think that's why they released that update. They're trying to see like if we implemented it this way, what would we need to fix? I think that's what Pocket Pair is trying to do with that update. And for those that don't know, the update is basically when you release your PAL, instead of you throwing it now, it just appears next to you. But because of how everything works, they appear in the terrain. And so it's kind of finicky. So now I think, like I said, I think they're trying to test where the issues would be. And the fact that they're doing it this early kind of is a smart idea. Like, you don't want to be the day after the trial hearing, finding out you lost, and then having to scramble to find a solution, otherwise you pay fines. I think what they're doing is actually quite smart. It's just, without proper transparency, we as the players can only assume things. And I think that's the biggest issue, is that there's no transparency between game companies and us anymore. Us as players. Like, yeah, a lot of players right now or a lot of people right now on the internet have gotten too used to not getting their asses handed to them because they were talking shit. As much as I don't like I like boxing in general. I don't like a lot of the mainstream stuff right now. I don't know, I don't like sports in general because we sensationalize it just a bit too much in my mind. But that's just me. But like, Mike Tyson had it pretty solid, and pardon me if I butcher it. We have gotten too used to not facing the consequences of our actions online because we hide behind anonymity. I'm currently right now I'm looking at the map on my phone to try and find where the next Addison location is. Because the map isn't exactly like coherently or cohesive. It kind of goes in a loop. Because it takes the map, shows you where the Addison locations are. I know I'm off topic of what I was saying. Just bear with me. So the map I'm using to find Addison's locations, it's on Polygon. It shows me the was it on IGN? It shows me the locations as the big map, and then it compartmentalizes each and every location of Hyrule into these own little mini maps. And that's what I was using to find Addison. And unfortunately, it starts me in... No, it started me in the northeast. I don't know what route it was giving me, to be honest. It was just giving me a route, I guess. But anyways. I'm irritated with how the state of things are online because not just big companies, but individuals as well. Like, we've gotten so used to being like, oh, freedom of speech, freedom of speech, freedom of speech. Now, the issue with that statement is that freedom of speech, yes, does mean that you can kind of say whatever you want. It doesn't mean you're protected from the consequences of saying whatever you want. From what I understand about how freedom of speech is supposed to be, you're supposed to be able to say things without being legally prosecuted. So if, just to give an example, I'm not trying to stir the pot with this. Just to give an example, you're supposed to be able to say, our government is doing illegal shit. You're supposed to be able to kind of point that stuff out. Like, it's supposed to give people accountability, is what freedom of speech is supposed to do. Because keep in mind, when freedom of speech originally came around, sorry, I'm dealing with a lot of hair in my mouth today, dog hair. But when freedom of speech originally came about, it was during the revolution. It was during the revolution, right? Yes, I believe so, because the amendments came out around that time. Because back then, you weren't allowed to say anything bad about the king and queen, or any crown whatsoever. Like, saying anything bad about them and getting caught for it would be basically death. Or some form of punishment. And that's what freedom of speech is supposed to give you. It's supposed to give you the ability to call out bullshit people in power, and it's supposed to basically allow you to be someone who can force the people in power to hold accountability. Nowadays, we abuse it by saying, oh, I can call somebody a racist term. That's freedom of speech. Like, unfortunately, no, it is not. I mean, yes, it is. You're free to say it, but you're going to get your ass handed to you. Or at least you're supposed to. Because I think that's part of the issue, is that a lot of people nowadays, I'm not saying it's the best way to go about it, but I do believe it would be a lot easier if a lot of the online trolls nowadays just got their asses physically beaten by the people they troll. Not like beaten to death, just beaten to show that they're not immune. And I don't like, well, I mean, I jokingly like to condone violence. It's more of a cartoony way, like Bugs Bunny or something like that, where I would rather hit somebody with a toony mallet and turn them into a pancake for a few minutes. But I don't really like condoning beating somebody to the point where, like, they have a black eye or something like that. Because there's too much hate in the world as it is, but unfortunately, in this regard, I do believe that a few ass-kickings are justified. I'm emphasizing a few. Just enough to show that there is accountability for your actions. Because that is what the biggest issue is, there's no accountability for actions. That's why Iron Mouse is facing hell right now. That's why Nintendo's doing the shit that they're doing, because nobody's really getting on their case about it. Yet. That's why Sony's being dicks. That's why the US government's absolute garbage. But I will say this. One good thing that does come out of the freedom of speech thing, that I think is important, is that just like you're allowed to say some really heinous shit, supposedly, you're also allowed to say some really good shit. I think y'all are doing wonderful today. I think you're doing wonderful every day. Every day you make it through, you know, start the day, make it through to the end of the day, then you go about and wake it up again and do it again. Yes, it's monotonous, but you're making it through another day. You're doing good. You're pushing forward. That's a good thing. That's amazing. Incredible. Every day you make it through without giving up is a win. Even if it doesn't feel like it, it is a win. All the shit we're going through in the world right now, it's not going to stop us. Is it going to hinder us? Yes. Is it going to slow us down? Oh, absolutely. Is it going to stop us? No, 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 no. Oh no, freezer dudes. Freezer enemies. Why are you trying to blind me? Why are you trying to blind me? That's not effective. I'm not able to be blinded. But, like I said, you all are doing wonderful today. You all are doing wonderful every day. It's like the song from the very old Santa Claus movie says. You just put one foot in front of the other. And then you'll be walking across the floor. That's a song about moving forward. About taking it one step at a time, doing your best, and you just keep moving. Is it going to be hard? Absolutely. Is it going to be difficult? Definitely. Will it be worth it? You bet your ass it will. Every step you take towards your goals, every step you take towards moving forward, that's worth it. I'm just watching this fight, and it's kind of interesting that the enemies fight each other. I do like that concept. I just wish they were a little bit more effective against each other. But yeah, one of the biggest things is if you're worried about people hating on you, about people talking shit about you, it just heckling you, all that stuff. The worst thing you can do is let it get to you. The best thing you can do is listen to it and say, that's not me. That's not who I am. I'm not racist slur. I'm not prejudicial slur. Oh no, this is so bad. I'm not a loser. I'm not weak. I'm strong. I'm a winner in my own right. And if you're worried about like not having a talent or anything like that, like you don't know what you're good at, well, that's fine. I've been trying shit for over 30 years, and I just barely found some stuff I'm good at. There are people in their 50s still trying to figure out what they're good at, and they do find it. You will find it eventually. There's no doubt about it that you will find what you're good at. But if you don't try, you're not going to find it. It's not a bad thing to try. It's not a bad thing to learn. It's not a bad thing to experiment. But if you don't try, if you don't learn, you have basically given up. You've basically lost. And that's what I think the world needs more of. We need more people who try. We need more people who learn. But yeah, and the reason I'm saying all this, like now, in this last episode, is because I know I talk about a lot of heavy stuff, especially in this series. A lot of stuff that people don't want to hear, a lot of stuff that people don't like. It probably like takes away from the series as well, and I really should focus more on the games that I'm playing. But I do think it's necessary to understand that this stuff needs to be said. People out there would rather not listen to good, positive stuff and would rather bring other people down. And because of that, I feel like it's my responsibility, both as a content creator and as a person in general, to try and provide the counter to the negativity. I don't think I can do it all on my own, but I'm going to try my hardest. And I want you all to understand that I do value each and every one of you. I may not be personal with it, I may not learn your names, but each and every person that I meet, each and every person that I interact with, each and every person that I help, and each and every person that helps me is somebody important to me. And I'd rather us all work together to get through this life than, stand against each other and fight each other. And I know there's always going to be people that want to fight each other. I know there's going to be people that want to hate each other. And I can't stop that, and I accept that. But if I don't try and find all the people that want to help and want to learn and want to, you know, endeavor and work together, then I'm not trying. Then I'm not doing what I should be doing, in my mind. Oh, yeah, I know it got heavy there for a second. It got heavy and probably annoying, and people probably clicked off. And I've ruined my own retention rate. But I do greatly appreciate each and every one of you who's watched this series. And I greatly appreciate what all you've helped me build. This series has been around since the beginning of my channel. And I'm grateful for it, and I'm grateful for you all who watched with me. And now I gotta figure out a great way to tie link. No, don't get stuck. Okay, we're good. Now I gotta find a good way to time it so that I can get the outro and stuff done. I do want to thank you all so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please leave a like and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. That way you can see more content like this in the future. And if you're coming, if you're coming back on the regular and you're not subscribed, please subscribe. It truly helps out a ton and I'm greatly appreciative. If you'd like to share this video with your friends, your family, your favorite group of Legend of Zelda lovers, I'd appreciate that as well. And if you would like to support me as a content creator, or if you'd like to join me as a fellow content creator, as a content lover, I have a Ko-fi, a Patreon, and a community Discord server link all in the description below. Not only that, I am now live on Twitch on Mondays and Thursdays at 10:30 p.m. Central, or Eastern Standard Time. Twitch.tv/Kazm Vulfhart, link in the description as well. And always remember that legends never die, tales are never untold, and adventures will be burned into our hearts and minds as we keep moving forward into the future. I can't wait to see you all in the next adventure. I hope you all enjoyed as much as I do, because I'm going to have a blast, and I hope you all join me with it. And without further ado, thank you, and goodbye. Thank you. Bye-bye, and ALLONS-Y.